Yo, what is good, everyone? I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I have my last two finals tomorrow morning, so on Tuesday I will be flying home for J-Term, and you know what that means? I will be back to doing the daily videos, so I am really excited about that. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on those. I will be doing those for pretty much probably a month out from now until I come back to school, but you're not going to want to miss out on that, and especially this video. I got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of opportunities that are setting up for this week, so we're going to be looking at natural gas, oil, Apple, Amazon, SPY, of course, and Netflix. So SPY finally giving us some structure to work with. We can finally do some trades on it. So make sure to watch this whole thing through. Show it some love, give it a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So to start off, we're just gonna work our way from left to right. Bitcoin, not too much to say. Those inflows are still flatlining, but it really is kind of working its way sideways. In no way does it really look bullish to me. Kind of. I would like more confirmation. But yeah, it's barely moved up, and you can see this momentum. It needed a lot of momentum just for this tiny move. So these are the trend lines to watch. It's got to get through all of these, and then once that happens, we can talk about those high 20,000s. Probably this area. This is probably going to want to get tested for liquidity. So just watch those lines, and we'll see what it wants to do from there. So oil, we're looking for that bounce. If you're in the Discord, we really caught the bottom of this thing. We were buying down here, and we've been holding all week. And I called out that short at the top around here, but I didn't take it just because it was a really awkward structure to work with. I really couldn't tell what was happening around here, but in the bigger picture, this thing, it's looking ready to make that big move. So um, this is the comparison I've been making. Let me make my picture smaller. Give me a second. So that comparison I've been making was that previous wedge. These are very similar. All wedges are similar. They had the same structures, the overlapping waves. So um, I'm just gonna kind of put it down again so you can kind of see what I'm seeing, if you can't see it yourself. But you get that fake out to the downside, hit all those stop losses. But we were buying into the fear, and it's been paying off so far. So once this breaks out, and it doesn't have to, but the odds are low that it fails that breakout. We're looking at the low 80s to this region. So the 50% retrace in that golden pocket. If you're in futures, which is what I trade, you'd be making about 7,000 per contract at the minimum. So join this Discord if you really want to see how to do this stuff, because we're making a lot of money in there, and I might as well just show you some of the profits from this week. I might do this in my videos. I usually don't show my profits, but these were just the trades that I made with the highest gains this week. So I didn't show you any trades from SPY, but those were some pretty nice returns for this week. So join the Discord if you want to see more of that, and do that for yourself. So oil, we're looking for that upside. Just to kind of summarize it, we're looking for that upside, but it might need to just do some work on its own and find some structure, find a floor here. The 1 hour MACD though is giving some more of that short-term shift to the upside now. You can see that MACD crossing over. RSI went through its moving average, but it's having trouble at the 50. So it's trying to get into that bullish control zone, but we'll see how it is tomorrow. And then you go up to the higher time frames. 2 hours starting to curl, and the 4 hours what I'm really watching. This needs to kind of base out, give me that confidence that this is actually ready to break out. So oil really on high watch for me this week. Natural gas, we had a massive gap down, and it's kind of in the structure here like a wedge, but wedges I like to see. There's a specific structure I like to see. I can show you. I don't want to waste too much time trying to find an example, but wedges have a kind of a specific structure with 5 waves down, and wave 4 overlaps with wave 1, and then 5 is shorter, and each wave gets shorter as it progresses. So that's not what I'm seeing here. So we'll just have to see how it plays out, but it loves to fill those gaps. So I'm looking for a long opportunity here this week to see if it wants to fill that gap. Yeah, natural gas is also on watch for me. I'm looking at a long opportunity on it, but as you can see here, it starts to go for that gap fill, and then it can kind of shoot up, hit those stop losses, because all these people are trying to get in on this gap fill, and that can really backfire sometimes. Just kind of looking back in the past, especially right here, it was going for this gap fill. People were taking profits on the way up, and you get all these problems when you're trying to fill these gaps. But if you ignore the noise, you can catch those entire gap fills. Like I said, I shorted in the sevens here, and I did not hold all the way through this because that's a lot of volatility to hold through. Because I'm making or losing $100 per cent. So just from here to here, I lose $100. So to put that into perspective, it's hard to hold through all of this volatility. So now, to guys, I'm looking for that gap fill, but I want to make sure it's gonna hold itself. If not, I'll just make some other trades and make sure to join the Discord so you see what those are. DXY, I think it's looking for some upside soon because you're gonna see it has divergences on the 4 hour here. On the 4 hour here, and those are pretty solid divergences. MACD support as well. So, and you have to give it some leeway when you're looking at support on the RSI of MACD, but you can see it's somewhat holding, but those are divergences. And it's kind of in this wedge pattern here too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. This is a great example actually. So you get your wave 1 down, wave 2, wave 3, and then wave 4 overlaps with the bottom of wave 1, and the 5th wave is shorter. So you can see that each wave kind of progressively gets shorter as it goes. So perfect example here. That's exactly what I was talking about. So DXY does look like it wants to make that reversal, and right here would want to test liquidity. So I can see it getting up to 110 probably, as well as there's going to be a lot of resistance. There's going to be a lot of sellers in this region. So if it gets up here, I would not expect to break through this at least for a couple days. Depending on the strength, you kind of have to see as it goes. Just you don't really know if it's going to get up here yet and how it's going to get up there, because if it's just like this, it's not going to get through. It's going to come down, find support, but if you kind of build up to it and then you're like sitting underneath it, consolidate, you can break right through it. So it depends on how we get there. That will kind of give us that decision that we're going to make. So Apple, we've been watching these lines here, and it finally filled these gaps. Apple, I love playing these gaps here. You kind of have to be patient with these gaps. You don't want to get faked out by some of these, but we finally filled this gap, and we're on a very important support trend line here. This white line here, so you can see that. I'll make it a little bigger so you can see it better. This is a very important support, and it's kind of battling around here. It's oversold, so it should get a bounce here. Not necessarily guaranteed. It's going to depend on what SPY does this throughout the week, but it should not break this. Just considering how oversold it is, you got divergences, but you kind of got to be careful here. It's not a steep support, so the less steep a support is, the more likely it kind of is to break through it. So this is one to be careful with, but you do have gaps to the upside. You have one down here, so this one is interesting. It could shoot down, fill it, and then get a crazy reversal up, fill this gap, and it's really in this tight range here with these two lines here that you can see. So that's what I'm watching. I'm watching this smaller gap, which is on the shorter time frames. You can see it's a small one, but a gap is a gap, and you got this big one down here, which could get filled and could act as a massive bear trap. So these are the things to watch. I don't really have a bias yet because it's in between these two gaps here, and it's really close to that one. So Apple, just watch those gaps this week. See which one wants to get filled first, and especially these two lines. You really want to be paying attention to these two lines because I wouldn't trust the first break on this one. I don't know. It's kind of suspicious to me, but that top line break, I would definitely be cautious if you're a bear if that breaks. So on to Tesla. Finally, these Tesla bulls, they are kind of annoying actually. Like just how they don't give up, even when they really should be giving up. We were in that volume pocket that thing should have broken way early. You had this really tiny support, this really tiny area of congestion. I guess he had a little gap there that got filled. But this thing was putting up a serious battle. And finally we got through that volume gap. If you're in the Discord, I've been saying I'm a buyer at 155 to 150. And that range does go lower because this is kind of a wide demand zone here that goes from 155, I would say 150 to 130, 136ish. You're going to want to be watching that gap. You kind of want to get there. Now, the trend lines, we're getting kind of to an area of confluence where you have multiple trend lines. I don't know if you still have divergences. You still have divergences, so that's another thing to pay attention to on the 4 hours. So that's pretty significant. Yeah, those are definitely divergences. So I think in a couple days, maybe, I'm not sure how long this is gonna take, but I could potentially see something like this. You fill this gap, you add all of these supports, you have divergences. RSI breakout 2, maybe it's getting oversold. So I could see something where it dips down and maybe gets a crazy reversal. So I would be keeping an eye out for a bottom on Tesla soon. But I would be patient for the time being. Amazon, this is when I just started watching. This thing has a lot of gaps to fill, so I love playing these gaps. They're very consistent. You just kind of have to be patient with them because everyone's watching these gaps, and the market makers don't like retail making easy money. So there's a lot of traps, a lot of mind games, a lot of tricks being played in the process. So right now it is at a major demand zone. So you should see some buyers come in here. Kind of depends on the macro with SPY, how the overall market is moving, but we'll get to that soon enough. Yeah, for now, we could see buyers come in soon. And if you look back here, this is a very wide range. So this could turn out just to be a very wide range that starts getting traded in on Amazon while it decides to bigger move. Once it breaks 68, it's game over. It's going to 50 right after that. That's a volume gap, for example, this on Tesla, volume gap, you went straight through it. So these volume gaps are very relevant in the fact that, price goes all the way through it, whichever direction that is, to find the next area of buyers and sellers. So, Amazon, I'm watching for this reversal, just because, again, confluence here in this channel, demand zone, this trend line here, you got gaps above, divergences, so there's a lot of reasons this thing would want to bounce in, and that's what I'm kind of looking at over the following weeks. So, we're going to be tracking Amazon. I think it's going to provide some good opportunities for us. So on to biotech and semis. Biotech. So this is unbelievably stubborn. It's pretty irritating, actually. Unless you a trader, you like swing trading, this thing has been a gold mine, an absolute gold mine for swing traders. All it does is this is by far the most consistent range I think I've actually ever seen. It just bounces in this range, and it's been doing this for a very long time, since it really got into this range, almost 3 months. So yeah, if you're a swing trader, I've been pointing this out. It's providing some seriously consistent swing trades. So Lat D. So the breakdown on the general markets I don't think has started yet. I think that'll take place in early 2023. And for the time being, I'm just being patient, but I do want to take some major positions, shorting biotech, shorting semiconductors, and SPY. So, yeah, there's not too much to say. Right now I'm just kind of being patient, because if the market gets this next bounce that I'm looking for, there is some more upside on biotech and semis. You got a gap here, which you can see on the shorter time frames. So, this could be moving up soon, and you would see that move up on SOXL. This is a diamond wall at around 30, but it's going to be interesting to see how the market moves. I promise you, kind of going to want to be aware of what I have to say for the general market. So VIX, you got that bounce, not too much to say. If the markets want to bounce, this is going to come back down. You still have that gap down there, so this also provides for some incentive for the markets to get a nice move up, for the VIX to fill this gap down here. So on to SPY. Give me a second. I gotta close my window. It's frozen. but now it's like currently like 2 degrees, so my room gets cold really fast. So, anyways, back to Spy. The first thing I really want to talk about, or actually point out, is what I've been saying in the Discord. So, this was on 11/11 that I was talking about. This whole move I was looking for: 390, then 410, then 370, then 420, then sub 300. So, kind of the chaos theory butterfly effect. The longer out you're looking towards, the more chaos and kind of like variables come into the picture that distort the general picture. So you kind of have to shift and adjust your plan as it goes. But so far, it's been doing exactly what I've expected. 390, um, 390, yeah, 390, 410, and then it did this huge move up. But so far, you're moving down towards 370. So what's next? 420, which that's I think is going to be adjusted, and then down to 300. So it's been playing out perfectly. 11/11, that was back here. So it's been like over a month now, and it's still doing that. So last week I was looking to take that short towards 380. I did not expect this insane move up, so I did not short this because this was really unexpected. I was just kind of watching it, and it's unfortunate. I've been waiting for this move down, but if I'm uncertain about something, I'm not gonna take it. Just um, I have my criteria to take my trades, and if I don't like it, I'm not gonna take it. So it was unfortunate that I missed out on this move, but um, you got to stick to rules. Risk management is really important in this market. So, yes, I'm looking for a bounce soon. I don't know if I was planning on showing that in the messages. Give me a second. So, I am looking to go long soon, and that is because if you've been watching my videos for a while, this is what I've been looking for several months now. Go back, look at my thumbnails. I've drawn this out like a lot of times. So this is kind of the move I'm looking for. You could see some serious upside here into the 430 to 440 range. You got a gap up here, so this is some pretty good incentive to move up to here. Get rid of those gaps. I don't know if you have a gap up here. You might actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's actually a tiny gap that no one really talks about, and I'm actually just going to go off track and show you this because no one talks about this gap, and I still don't think it's filled yet. So give me a second, and then after this we're going to go back and take a look at the volume profile. So here is that gap. No one talks about this gap, no one really knows about it, but you have a tiny gap here at 437 that is not filled yet. So 437, keep that in mind. You could be seeing that number. So, alright, back into the bigger time frames. This is the general structure I'm looking for, and it all depends on one single thing. We have to stay above 370. 372, 370, you can wick underneath it. Something like, you go underneath it and then a big hammer candle. So it's not certain that we're going to get down to here. We can bottom at the 50%, and that's what I've been looking for. I said we will retrace. We will drop. We're going to see at least partially some of this gap get filled, but we're going to see a retrace to that 50% or the 370. And I was very confident about that. I was talking about that 380 for a while, all the way down to 370, which is a possibility. So, actually, before I go into the volume profile, I want to show you some stuff. If you can understand this, you can really use it to your own benefit to time big moves. And I've been using this for several months now. I've been able to call out when a big move is coming. Like, I've been able to say it's going to happen tomorrow, the next 2 days. So if you go into the daily with the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner channel, when the Keltner channel is inside of or the Bollinger Band is inside of the Keltner channel, Bollinger Band is this yellow line here. The Keltner channel is this blue line. There's kind of a lot of stuff. I'll take off the fibs just for now so you can see it a little better. But yellow lines, once they go inside of that, you're looking at, and on the higher the time frame this happens on, the bigger the move is that is going to happen. So the last time this happened was back here, and what do you know? We seriously got a gigantic move. Before that, that was all the way back here, massive melt up. So you can see it for yourself. Melt up. That's just what happens. So You got that explosion to the downside. So you can see what I'm saying here. The higher the time frame, the bigger the move is going to happen. So we're gonna take that off so we can see the charts again. I don't want to clutter it up too much, but uh, the daily MACD and RSI, this is what's a little conflicting. So I think it's going to take a couple days to kind of have that process where you see a floor, and you kind of see that momentum shift to the upside. So this is a very crucial point in time for the markets, because if you don't hold this 370, it's going to 320. That's how the waves work. I'm not sure why it works, but that's what's gonna happen. This is the last support, 370. If you go below that, it's looking really, really bad. So maybe you can give it some leeway down to 366, but under 366, I don't know. I would be really cautious. So I'm going to, so I'm gonna explain the volume profiles, kind of what's happening here, and then I'm gonna give you that projection, and just the short-term waves that I'm looking for and what I'm looking at. So, you had this volume gap again. I showed you that on Tesla, and whatever, something else, I forget what it was, but you break through that, you drop right through it, or you squeeze right through it. So that purple zone, you can see that, and these demand zones. Right now, we're inside. We're kind of in this, but we shot back out of it. I'm gonna take these off for a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna explain this and then take it off so I can just focus on this. So, short-term wave structure, we're looking at potentially 5 down already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the fourth wave is a little short, so if this holds and you don't see another bottom, you could see a pretty decent move. You want to take out your fib retracements and the 50%. So you could see up to 396, even 400 actually, and continue that move down. So the overall structure, 535, that's what makes up an ABC. So A wave is 5 waves, B wave is 3 waves, and that last wave is 5 waves. So this is where you could be looking at, retrace up to 396 to 400, and then get a lower low to that 377, where it is so important to hold that. And if that holds, you can get a serious move to the upside. So you could be looking at 410 to 430, 430 to 440 runs. So I'm not sure how long this process is going to take. It's a pretty volatile market. We're in negative gamma, below the gamma threshold. So volatility is going to pick up as those dealers are kind of, they have to switch up their plans. And so it really depends what happens in these next few days. So I would really recommend joining the Discord now, because if you get a short in, let's say 410, and you held to 320, that is over 40,000 per futures contract. So you really want to be able to time this and know what's happening, when everything's going to happen. So I would say this is a pretty important time to use your resources, and I would recommend joining the Discord. So totally up to you. I'm not sure why you wouldn't, but make sure to check it out. So back to the volume profile, you got all these demand zones. I would recommend putting these on your charts just so you can see where these big zones of demand, supply and demand are. We've been fluctuating up here. This was really painful. I actually haven't been trading SPY the past few days just because it's been so confusing. I mean, like this was the general pattern I was looking at, these two lines here, and look at how far it would shoot out from these. It was such a pain to trade. I didn't even try really. I've just been sitting back, watching and waiting for this drop to happen. That drop happened really just faster than I could kind of prepare for. So I've been watching it, and I'm just waiting now. So, these ranges, once we broke that bottom range, that bottom level, right here, we finally got that breakdown. Actually, it was this level here, got that breakdown, but this was the big one here. The sustainable break of it was the one that would send us down, and this looked like the sustainable break to me, and that's where we are now. So right now, I told you what we need to hold, what levels I'm looking at. Did I take the fibs off? Yes, I did. So let me redraw this quick and just kind of show you that short-term projection again and really solidify what I'm trying to say here. So let me draw this out, and we're going to zoom into the short-term and take a look at the possible wave structures that we're looking at. So I want to go in closer so you can really see these waves here. So right now this is a falling wedge. You got some divergences. You could be looking at that reversal soon. And on ES, you're in this channel now. So I would expect, you can't stay in channels forever. That's just not how it works. This is going to break out soon to the upside. And it looks like it wants that momentum to turn up, because this is a nasty drop. So I would expect a breakout of this channel soon. Right here, this is in a liquid area that's probably going to get tested right here. So that equates to, yeah, pretty much what I was saying on SPY earlier. Yeah, 396 to 400 is an area I would be watching. So there's a chance this is also an ABC here already. So this is an extended C wave. There's a lot of possibilities actually, and I'm just going to draw this out. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, I'm just going to draw it out. This is also a possibility in expanded ABC, and I found that target by drawing this Fibic retracement, and you can see right here that 1.618. I drew it roughly, but that's where it went to, 1.618. So this could be an extended or expanded ABC, and that would be the end of this correction before moving up to anywhere, I would say 410 to into the 430. So this is a massive range, I know, but it'll be easier once we have more structure to work with. If we want to make that lower low, if we bounce, go lower, if this is the bottom. So you know, you kind of have to go as it goes, but we're just gonna have to see how it plays out through the week. And I think I should have some videos up during this week, depending on how the process is when I get home. I'm going snowboarding soon, which I'm looking forward to. So we'll just have to see how it plays out early on this week. And that's really all I have for this video. There's a lot of opportunities, so you're not going to want to miss out. Join the Discord so you really can catch all of these moves. And that's where I'm going to leave this video. So if you watched the whole thing through, make sure to show it some love, give it a like and subscribe. And peace out, guys.